crack the code of your sleep and dreams so you can sleep sound and dream deep. This evening, I decided to look at some of the lesser known sleep disorders over the next several lives. And the sleep disorder I'm going to look at today is REM sleep behavior disorder, which I call the fight of your nightlife. So, what exactly is REM sleep behavior disorder? Well, even if you don't know the name for it or the technical term for it, you've probably have experienced it at least once in your lifetime. Either you or the person you're sleeping next to suddenly gives you a punch or a kick or starts yelling at you and they're dead asleep. That's exactly what this disorder is. Those punches, kicks, slaps, etc., are the manifestations of this sleep disorder. The normal muscle paralysis of sleep, for some reason, is not working, and so the condition it causes people to act out their dreams, whatever's going on in their dreams. If they're being chased, if they're in a fight, whatever, having an argument, or whatever the case may be, they're acting it out while they're asleep. And the condition can actually be dangerous, not only to the sleeper, but to the people around them. And this, as I said, this disorder occurs during REM sleep and causes the person to physically act out vivid and usually unpleasant dreams with vocalizations, sudden and violent arm and leg movements, and which these movements are referred to as dream enacting behavior, which is just a fancy way of saying they're acting out what they're dreaming. Now, what causes this disorder? What happens is that the neural pathways in the brain that usually will inhibit muscle movement during periods of REM sleep when we're dreaming, for which causes a temporary paralysis of the body. And you may have had that experience where you feel like you're waking up, but you can't move. You're kind of paralyzed. And that's because the body is still in a sleep mode, even though your mind may be awake. But for whatever reason, this REM sleep behavior disorder, these neural pathways stop functioning and we start to physically act out our dreams. Now, as I said, there's no movement during REM sleep, and which, by the way, REM sleep is a stage of sleep that occurs many times during the night, not just once or twice. We may be dreaming up to 4, 5, 10 times during the night. It goes in a cycle where we go into deeper levels of sleep and then come closer to the surface, and that process actually accelerates as we get closer to our waking time. About 20% of our sleep is actually spent in REM sleep, which is where REM sleep takes place and where dreams usually happen during the second half of the night. Now, some of the symptoms I've already mentioned of REM sleep behavior disorder include things like movement, so punching, kicking, jumping out of bed, perhaps, noise. People may talk, laugh, curse, scream, or have emotional outbursts of some kind. And they can actually, when they're woken up after the episode, they'll actually remember what the dream was about. Generally, the people that are most likely to develop the disorder are men. That was because a number of women are being diagnosed, particularly those under the age of 50. And young adults and children may be at risk if they've been diagnosed with certain types of disorders like narcolepsy, or have been taking antidepressants, or if there's a brain tumor which can cause what's erratic behavior or disjointed behavior. Another thing that is a factor that could provoke the disorder is neurodegenerative diseases, diseases and illnesses such as Parkinson's, multiple system atrophy, stroke, or what's called Lewy body dementia, which is often mixed up with the symptoms of Parkinson's. So those are also other comorbidities, as they're called, that could cause this disorder to appear. Other factors, there's narcolepsy, which is where people they're just chronically tired during the day. They're very drowsy, will often drop off to sleep during the day. Medication can be a factor. Certain medications, including the newer type of antidepressants, or withdrawing from drugs or alcohol, may also cause the disorder to take place. Other factors are indicated by newer research that there may be environmental or personal risk factors involved, including exposure to pesticides, farming, smoking, or a head injury. So there's no one particular cause, and it could actually be a combination of things that are causing the disorder. So I gave you an example at the beginning of this as to how it affects the person who's suffering. And some of the issues that are highlighted by those suffering from the condition include distress to their partner sleeping next to them, social isolation that people may not even think about, but social isolation due to the person being afraid that others know about this condition that they have. And finally, and most importantly, injury to the sleeper or to the people around them. So, but in addition to the physical injury the disorder causes, there's the emotional impact. The sufferers can become isolated, as I've mentioned. They'll feel irritable. They'll feel lonely. They may have difficulties with their partner who doesn't understand what's happening to them and is probably pissed off that they're being punched and kicked during their sleep. Home, work, and social life will also be negatively impacted by this. Now, the condition can be treated, but it's essential to receive medical treatment as soon as possible because the incidences can increase and become worse. It's generally treated with medication and injury prevention techniques or equipment, which is vital because as the person can get quite worked up and quite damaging to themselves as well as to others. They say it's important to know that treatment is possible for the simple reason that left unchecked, it will only get much worse, and it could really be harmful to the sleeper as well as to the person you're sleeping with and others around them. Now, if you're having problems with your sleep, get some help. I mean, get some advice, first of all, and find out if it's just something that's incidental. It may be related to you being stressed or having other concerns, or there may be some underlying problem that's causing the poor sleep. You can find out whether it's something that needs to be followed up by having a complimentary slip into sleep session with me. Find out whether there's simple, easy, drug-free techniques that you can use to get you sleeping better, or whether you need to be to look at more deeply what's going on with your sleep. If you'd like to find out more, book a complimentary session with me. The web address is www.meetingwithsheila.com, and I'll be happy to give you a free assessment and some advice, as well as a made-to-order flower essence blend that can help you sleep better. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Have a wonderful evening and a great bank holiday and rest of the week. And I'll see you again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.